preferred method of planning, but there are lots of different planners out there. There are tons of planners out there and all kinds of different ways to plan. So I'm just going to show you what works for me. I actually plan so much that I ended up writing my own planner, which is published every year for Christmas time. It's called The Nice List. If you go to my website, you can check that out. But I'll show you, these are some of my planners from years past. And they usually start out being fairly thin. And by the end of the year, they're nice and chunky. And they're a good record of what has happened in that year, as well as all the things, the plans that I made, the dreams that I had, and how they've come together, or sometimes not. It's the way it goes. But I find planning to be a great way to deal with anxiety and feeling overwhelmed. I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, and it helps center me and keeps me going. So the process I'm going to show you today is something that I do once a month. I'm going to set out kind of my August plan. And show you how I get things set up for August. And then I'll talk you through kind of what I do on a weekly basis and what I do on a monthly basis. And every year, at the end of the year, I have a whole process for that too. But we're at the middle of the year. And for some of you, this might be the perfect time to start planning. So my planner, for example, I plan January through December. But there are planners out there that start in August. They're called academic planners. Passion Planner makes one. There are lots of different academic planners. So if you are just now starting, go get yourself an academic planner. They're usually 12 months, August to August. Sometimes they're 18 months, August to December, which is a great way to transition if you're not on a school calendar. Get an academic planner that's 18 months, and that'll take you through to December, when you can pick up and go annually. But I'm going to give you permission right now. You don't have to finish a planner. If you pick one up right now and you start in August and then you want to start a new one in January, go for it. You have my permission to do that. It's funny, I always feel like leaving something undone is not okay. That's the perfectionist in me. But it really is okay to change planners midstream. If it's not working for you, don't struggle with it. Go find something that does work for you, and keep going. But my planner is January to December. I tend to think of things that way now that I'm not teaching. Though I have to say, the deeper my child gets into school, the more I think I may switch to an academic planner just so that I'm on the same kind of planner cycle that he is. I'm not sure yet. I still tend to, I was a teacher before I did other things, and a student long before that. So I still tend to think in academic years as opposed to calendar years. But there's a planner out there for everybody. I'm going to show you some of my favorite planner tools, how I get things set up, and then what I do on a monthly basis and on a weekly basis. And if you're interested in planning and planners, let me know where you're coming from. Danny, it's so nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Marilyn is here from Dallas. She's one of my followers. If you click follow up at the top, you'll get a notification just like Marilyn did that I'm going live whenever I'm going live. And you never know what I'm going to be talking about next. But I do talk about planners and all kinds of things. So if you please give me a follow, I would love to have you follow me. And that way you'll get a notification when I'm going live. You can also always come back to my channel and listen to this again. If I go too fast, if you decide you're going to follow along on a sewing project or something else and you need to reference it, they're all there and they're available to you anytime you want to come back and listen to them again. So just so you know that that is a possibility as well. All right, so let's take a look inside the planner. I'm going to switch over to my other camera now.
And here we go. So like I said before, this is the Passion Planner. It has a really nice cover. That is one thing, if you're choosing a planner, I like a good durable cover. I think that's really, really important. And whether you like something that's spiral bound, or you like something that's bound like this, for example, or even a planner that you can print out and put in a 3-ring binder. I love that kind of planning too. A really good durable cover is important because it's going to last you a year and you don't want it to be falling apart by the end. Another thing that I like to add to my planner are tabs for the months. And these are available in, there are tons of people who sell them. Mine are from Passion Planner, and they sell these. I have the rainbow ones, which they're just nice and colorful. And they give you a couple blank ones too, which is nice. I haven't used them. I pulled this out tonight and I thought, oh, I need to add some sections at the back. So I like these tabs. You can get tabs in a variety of different ways and at different price points, but I like the Passion Planner ones. One of the things about the Passion Planner that I enjoy too is that it has a monthly layout and then there's a weekly layout. And this for me works really well. And I'm going to show you, I alter the weekly layout because I don't live by appointments nearly as much as somebody who might work in an office and just have tons and tons of appointments and that kind of thing. Because I work at home, that's not quite how my life works. But it has nice big blocks of time and it's relatively clean, so it's easy to make adjustments for that too. I'm going to show you some of my favorite tools along the way as well. But let's start. So here's what I do. I try to do my monthly planning at the end of the month before. That doesn't always work out that way, but I try to do that at the end of the month before, just so that I have a good handle. Oh, looks like we're having trouble focusing here. Are you getting a good focus? Let's see. Or is it out of focus? Let me know what you're seeing. Because to me, it's looking like it's in focus in one place and out of focus in another. So give me a thumbs up if you can see and you can read this. And if not, I'll see what I can do in the comments. So, let's see. I'm not seeing anything.
Can you see that? Is it in focus for you? I can't tell. Okay, I'm going to carry on. Let me know in the comments if it's not in focus for you, and I will see if I can fix it. This is the monthly view, and I use it. I have to confess, I don't use the Passion Planner exactly how they want you to use it. But the nice thing is it's very clean, and so it's easy to adjust to your needs. So I have a couple of tools here that I am going to use in my planning. I have some stickers. These are from Pip Sticks. And I linked in the carousel below to a bunch of sticker books of Pip Sticks stickers. Now, I'm going to tell you, I am a grown woman of a certain age. I'm a mom, and yes, I still really love stickers. And yes, I use them in my planner. And first of all, this is just black and white. And I am not a calligrapher. I can't make this look amazing. I know there are some people who go in and do all kinds of drawing and calligraphy and all of those kinds of things and really make their planners look phenomenal. That's not me. So I use stickers, and I also use washi tape. And I'm going to grab some washi tape. If you don't know about washi tape, you are missing out. I love washi tape so much. And let's see, with these, I'm going to use this super colorful washi tape for this month. Washi tape is a Japanese decorative masking tape. And it is super fun, and it comes in a variety of widths. This is actually pretty chunky, but on my monthly layout, because I use my monthly calendar not really as a calendar, I have put washi tape down on the bottom like this. Now, I'll tell you, one of the things about washi tape is that sometimes, especially if it's super hot or humid, or it's a cheap washi tape, it doesn't like to stick. So to fix that, I often just kind of stick it down with stickers too. And I know that is kind of irritating. I have thrown out a few rolls of washi tape because I just find that they don't stick well, but that's not true most of the time. And the ones that I have put in the scroll down below are all ones that I've used that stick really well and are really great. Okay, so here are, I'm just going to stick some of these cute popsicle stickers on here because it's the end of summer. It's so fun. One of the things that I like to do in my planner too with the washi tape is use it to cover up things that are relatively irrelevant for me. So, for example, this says places to go. Well, I have an unvaccinated child, so I will tell you we are not going much of anywhere, so that's kind of irrelevant right now. So I'm just going to make that into a little box. I'm going to put a sticker down and call it good, and I'll use that for something else. And the same is true for people to see because, again, unvaccinated kid, we are being really selective about what we do, so that feels pretty irrelevant right now. In the before times, those boxes were always full every month, but not so much right now. So, cover that up. And this is what I mean by using a few tools and making your planner really work for you. You can do whatever it is that you need to do to make it fantastic. So I am going to put a couple of stars in here. One of the things I love about Pip Sticks is that they always have a couple of different sizes and styles of stickers on their sheets. And like I said, there are some sticker books too. They have great graphic design. I don't know if you've been watching the Olympics, but I absolutely loved at the opening ceremonies that they had an homage to the pictograms, because I don't think that good graphic design has ever gotten a call out at the Olympics before, and that made me crazy excited. So that was kind of fun. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own sticker. This is just a P-Touch label maker. It's actually a really old one. They are fancier now. But this one works just very well for me. And one of the things that I do every month in my monthly planner is that I put out a list of birthdays. So sometimes I have a sticker that says birthdays or something fun on it. But in this case, ooh, that is really tiny. Let's make that bigger. In this case, I do that. Don't have a birthday sticker, so I'm going to use this label maker. That's how we do it. Nope. And I can't remember how to change the size of my font. Oh, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's this one that I like. They also make clear label tape for this, and I actually prefer the clear, but right now it's loaded with white, so I'm going to use the white. So I'm going to turn this to-do list because I don't keep track of projects, big projects here. I find that it just doesn't work for me. So I keep track of birthdays here. So now I go to my digital calendar, and let me tell you, I also use a digital calendar, but I don't plan digitally. And there's a reason for that. Like I said, I'm a former high school teacher, and I used to teach my students how to plan, and there have been so many studies done that show that the physical act of writing something down for most people has the effect of essentially transferring that information into your brain in a different way, that when you type, those same pathways are not activated. So it has a deeper memory and learning capacity when you physically write something down. So I highly recommend planning on paper, even if you then have to use a digital calendar at work or something, but transferring it to paper, using paper in some way, it really does help your brain. So that is a big part of why I plan on paper. So down here, I'm going to list all of the birthdays that I know. And I don't write them on these squares because for me, the monthly layout is a gratitude journal. So every day I go through and I have one box where I can fill in something that I'm thankful for. This is another kind of daily practice that helps keep me centered. For me, it's kind of a prayerful thing, but it doesn't even have to be that for you. It's just a place to write down something that I'm thankful for and keep me kind of hooked into that thankfulness. I am just so, it has transformed my life in a lot of ways. And so when I'm putting down the birthdays, I'm also reminding myself to be thankful here. And I'll show you in my weekly planning one of the things that I do that's important here too. So, and I use these little squares, and then I just put the dates in here too. And I refer to my digital calendar and get that. Any anniversaries that are going to be here, all of that kind of stuff gets written down in this little chunk. So then you have all of this other space here to think about. These can be places for goal setting, and I'm not going to do all of this right now. You don't need to see all of my goal setting. But I will, for example, in this spot, instead of being places to go, I'm going to set out some ideas about meals that I want to make sure that we make. Right now, we are getting so much good produce from our farm share. We are subscribers to a farm share with a local farm here, and anytime I have a meal idea, even though it's a tiny little box, I will tuck it in there so it's written down and we won't forget it, and we'll make sure to do it. I'm also going to tuck in here back to school, because for us, school starts this month, and I know I will have a big shopping list for back to school stuff. So that goes here. I don't know about you, but my child grows like a weed, and so it will be time to get some new shoes, and I need to cut this a little bit. The tails are just a little bit too So we'll get some new shoes, and I've already ordered a backpack for him. He's very excited. Face masks, all of that. My goodness, the back to school list is rather different now, isn't it? So that'll be my back to school shopping list, and I'll start that there. And like I said, meals here, that could continue down here. And then the other thing that I track here, because I'm a reader, I track books read. I'll print that out. Some months that list is longer than others, I will tell you. But this is where I track, and I keep that going so that every time I finish a book or start a book, and I am somebody who usually has 2 or 3 books happening at once. That's what I usually track over here and write those down. So if you need good reading suggestions, let me know. And I always keep a running list on my website of books that I'm reading. I don't offer any kind of commentary. I just put up the books that I'm reading currently on my website, so you're welcome to go and check that out and see. I do not put anything on there that I can't recommend. So if I read something and I'm not enjoying it, I will not add it to that list. So I promise you that. They're always books that I finish. So this is my monthly layout. Hello, Cat's Fur from Dallas, Texas. Oh, and Cat's Fur started following me. Thank you so much for the follow, Cat's Fur. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. So this is my monthly spread, and that's what I do every month, and I will go through and fill in all of these ideas. And like I said, I go in and put in one thing every month that I'm grateful for, or every day that I'm grateful for. That's something that I do. So then we turn the page, and I'm going to get, this is next week, August 1st through 7th, but I'm going to get this set up. So I'll tell you, this is something that I usually do on Sunday afternoon. That is kind of my time when I sit down and do it. My family knows when I come in and turn on some music, I need an hour to do some planning. And they are very respectful of it because our life works a lot better when I have had a chance to do this. So you can look and see, these are kind of what my weeks tend to look like. They're kind of crazy. So this week, for this next week, I chose these cute little Japanese stickers that I think are so fun. And then, let's see, find some washi tape to go with them. We will use a kind of turquoisey blue. Okay, so like I said before, I love stickers. I think I actually love them more than my 10-year-old does, which is kind of hilarious to me, but it's the way it is. So I go through, and because the Passion Planner is, first of all, very, very flexible, but also doesn't do exactly what I want it to do, I customize it. And you will find that there are thousands, hundreds, thousands, somewhere in there, of people who do plan with me videos on YouTube and who do it on Instagram. And everybody does it differently because you're basically looking at a big blank sheet of paper with a bunch of lines on it, and you want to make it work the way your life and your plan works. So there's no right or wrong answer. And I have found, for example, that washi tape makes nice crisp lines. I love washi tape for that. So I use it to divide things up. And I used to do this very differently. But my life changed. I used to have, when I started using the Passion Planner, I recorded all of my appointments in the time slots because that was That was my life back then. I've used the Passion Planner for probably 10 years, maybe, I think, something like that, a long time. And I used other planners before that. I had been a planner since middle school. That is when I learned how to plan, and thank God, because it saved me as a student, and I have never not had a planner since then. But my life changed in such a way that I don't need all of these appointments, and so now I'll show you. I use these bottom chunks for different types of tasks, and the top chunk for appointments, and I just use the noon line because it's already there as my divider. So I don't really pay attention to the time on here at all. Your life may work differently, so you may need that time, and that is totally great. That just isn't my life right at this moment. Now, this is good things that happened. That's not to say I wouldn't record good things that happened, but I like that this skinny washi tape is exactly the same size as that banner. And so I usually cover it up. And I often use this as a to-do list, actually. So, okay. So now I'm going to put a couple of stickers on here because they're cute and they make this all cuter. And like I said before, sometimes helps reluctant washi tape to stick a little better. I spent a lot of time in Japan. I was there as an exchange, on a Fulbright exchange with, as a teacher, and then I've gone back. And so I have this fondness for Japanese graphics. And since we are watching the Olympics that are in Japan right now, I guess I'm kind of in a Japanese mood. And these are really cute little stickers. So, those guys there. I try not to use stickers that are too big when I'm planning. If you're just starting out, you have to be careful, because if you use lots of big stickers in your planner, then you have no room for anything else. And it'll take up too much of your workspace. So, okay. So that's probably enough for this layout. Down here, I don't use these in quite the same way. I use this as one project, and this is another project. The bigger things that I have going on. So for example, a couple of weeks ago, I was working on what's called the One Room Challenge, and so this to-do list was my One Room Challenge to-do list every week for 8 weeks. And I would cross things off and keep going. So this will be 2 separate to-do lists. And I have these cute little stickers that I'll just use. I wish I was a hand lettering person. I know maybe some of you are that do this beautiful hand lettering. I am not. I have nice enough handwriting, but hand lettering is not my thing. I have a good friend, Holly. She does amazing hand lettering, but that is not my thing. And if I decided that I wanted to do, you can find to-do stickers like this all over the place. There's a set of, I included a couple of sets of planner stickers in the scroll down below. You could find sheets of to-do stickers if you wanted to change things up. I'm going to do a tutorial sometime soon about how to make stickers using a Cricut. If you have a Cricut, that is a great thing to do too, and you can customize and make your own stickers, which I love doing. In fact, I'll show you. This sticker is a drawing that my son did that we turned into stickers that he gave for his Valentine's this year. So there you go. You can make stickers using Cricut, and that's super fun. Okay, so then the next thing I do, and I do this next because it takes a while to dry, I have these great stamps. And these are tracker stamps. They're also down in the scroll. They came in a set of, like, I want to say there were 20. There were all these different trackers. A lot of them I don't use, but I've kept them just in case I change my mind and I'm going to use, I need to track something different. But I have, these 4 are kind of my favorites. This is for tracking spending. They're from Japan. So I occasionally will use this if I am planning, like if we've got back to school shopping, for example. I could set up a spending tracking for that. This is a good to-do list tracker, so I will definitely include that in here. This one I use this twice every week, and I'll show you how I do that. That's just a generic tracker. And then this is the week challenge tracker. I also use that twice a week as well. And one of the things that I've been meaning to do that I haven't done, but that you can do, is I don't like the words week challenge on here. So if you just take an X-Acto knife, you can cut off those words, and then that spot won't print and it'll be blank. And I had been meaning to do that for a couple of weeks. I just decided I was tired of it saying that. I don't like those words. So that's a super easy way to alter any stamp that you might have. I'm going to do the same thing here. And with an X-Acto knife, it comes off super easily. So you can do that for any stamp that you might have. I am not a big stamper. Lots of people are way into stamps. That is not my thing, but I really do love these tracker stamps. And now I'm going to love them even more because they will not have those words on them. Little nub right here that I can't get off. There we go. So this one is totally fine, but those 2, that's kind of been driving me crazy, and I just hadn't done it lately. Sweep all these little crumbs off. So I have this Colorbox ink pad, which I like a lot. It first has the whole color, all the colors of the rainbow. It makes these really cool. But it also, this little tracker fits perfectly in one stripe, so I can make those different colors too, which is awesome. And I don't have, like, literally, this is the only ink pad I have for stamping. I told you I'm not that into stamping. But this makes it super easy to have multiple colors. So I'm going to go with this tracker down to the kind of blues and greens. And like I said before, I use this twice on my weekly spread. So get that lined up, smush it down, and I always do this one first. Line it up and smush it down. And I don't think this is going to be super even. You can use that ruler if you want it to be amazing, and I'm not going to. But I will tell you that I keep a spray bottle of water and a rag close by just to clean it off in between colors so that I don't get smudges of color. So this one I'm going to do multiple times through here. So I'm going to go with the purple. Start with purple. Go 1, 2, 3. I am not doing a good job of making these straight for this week. You can use a ruler and make that all much neater and tidier than that, but you get the idea. This one, this little to-do list, make sure that's on camera, is actually perfect in this box. So that's what I often use over there. And I'm going to just do this, rock it gently, and that's going to go in this box over here. And there we go. Okay, so I've done all the stamping, and usually now I walk away for like half an hour because this ink takes a little while to dry. It is, and you don't want to get it smeared all over yourself. So while that's drying, I'm going to show you how to use one of my other favorite little tools. This is the Canon Ivy, and it is a super cool little printer. It's a photo printer. So turn it on, and I love, it makes little stickers for your that you can put anywhere. And you can get this paper, you can get it either stickers paper or not. It's kind of up to you. And you use an app called the Mini Print. I was trying to find it. So you can print out the stickers. This is a selection for pre-cut sticker paper. You can print them as a collage. You can create a photo album. I've never actually done that. I'm not sure how that works. But anyway, you put in a pack of sticker paper. Which I have here. This has 10 sheets of it. And let's see. It tells me I have to put it face down. I always forget which way. I don't know if you have trouble with that. I have trouble just remembering which way to put in paper on my printer too. But those handy little pictograms are fantastic. And there we go. Turn it on. My app finds it. And I'm going to just print, you just print right out of your, phone. So these are stickers. Oops. Sorry. I think I have to go back because I'm using a pre-cut sticker. Okay, so I'm going to go that. I'm going to use that one, and I'm going to print another sticker out of some flowers from my garden. And then I'm going to print. And that should print. I'm certain this is user error, as usual. It says it's talking to it, so we'll see. And the print queue is empty. So we'll see if that prints in a minute. Oh, it's telling me the printer is busy, so it should happen any minute. So anyway, this is drying, and I'm going to do a couple of the other things that I do in a setup. So one of the things that I'm going to do for this week too is I'm going to add a Dutch door here. So this is just a sheet of paper. I often use Dutch doors in a variety of ways in my planner. And this is just an extra sheet of paper for putting notes in here. And I'm going to grab some other washi tape. This time I'm going to use something that's a little wider. You can put a Dutch door in the middle. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do for this week. Is put it in the middle. You can put it in the middle so that it flaps open like this. It's a great place to take to take notes on a phone call. A really good way to do that. You can add it to the edge. You could add it to the bottom edge so it flips up and down. You could add it to this side so it opens out like this. There are lots of ways to do a Dutch door. And the other thing is you can wait until you have already taken the notes and then add them as a Dutch door. Or if you have something else that you're interested in adding, maybe it's something sentimental that you want to save or whatever. In this case, I'm going to do this. I have several big phone calls coming up in this week, and so I'm going to make sure that I have extra paper to take notes and do in that planner. So I'm going to add this Dutch door. This washi tape appears. Let's see if I can get it to undo. All right, I love this because it has koi on it. Again, going with that Japanese theme. So here's how I create a Dutch door. Ugh, got that all tangled up, so we'll just do it again. I'm going to take the piece of paper that I'm going to turn into the Dutch door. And in this case, I want the washi tape to run down that side. So I'm just going to put this on here. And you'll notice I'm lining it up as best I can in the middle of the washi tape. And in fact, I'm going to do that one more time so it's really truly in the middle. Sometimes the pattern on the washi tape will help you get it really lined up the way you want it to be. So there. Now I'm going to go through and just really stick this down. Washi tape is not the stickiest of tape, which is nice sometimes, but sometimes you really do want it to stick too. Okay, so this is going to go over here like this. And so I am going to bring it over, making sure that you can see this. Line it up. And in this case, I'm not going to bring it all the way to the bottom, but I'm lining up the edge of the new piece of paper with the edge of the planner. And I'm going to do it from this side and just fold this over like that. Just like that. And now I have a Dutch door, and I can even go along here, seal it up from the inside too. It's called a Dutch door because just after doors that you would have in your house, where the top and the bottom open independently, just like that. So there we go. That is nice and secure. It's not going to go anywhere, and it gives me another page for this week, places to make notes and that kind of thing. I actually put it in upside down. I didn't even realize that, but nonetheless, it will work just fine. Okay, so what I do here, I have a variety of, like I said, large projects that I track. And I'm going to put another sheet of paper over this so that I don't get ink on my hands while that continues to dry. So now I go through, and on these columns, I have kind of a, it's not really a code, but I have subject headings that I put on each of these. So, and they are all initials, and I use this super fancy Crayola marker because that is what I have in my office. That one is running out of ink, so I need to recycle that. But I put these subject headings up. And now I have all of these set to go. This column changes from week to week, month to month, depending on what is going on. Sometimes this is a big project I'm working on for my child's school. Sometimes, I mean, it just depends on what it is. But these are different big projects. So I then create the to-do list for those big projects on each of these. And I can cross them off. I can make a checklist and cross them off. But the other thing I do when I'm sitting out and planning is add those tasks into the days up here. So if I am sitting down on Monday morning and I'm planning out what I'm doing, I need to look down here and say, okay, today I'm going to tackle the 3 items on this list, and I might transfer them up here so that they get crossed off here and here. Now that seems like duplication, except that what I'm doing is, this is my look ahead for the week that says these are all the things that need to be done over the course of this week. And then day by day, I'm tackling those in smaller bites. These are the 5 things that must be done this day. These are the 3 things that have to be done this day. But before I get to that part of that kind of planning, I sit down and the first thing I do is write in all of my appointments for this week. So at 3 p.m. on Monday, I have an appointment that need to go in and all of that kind of stuff. And then with that in here, when I move an item up here, so let's say, for example, I have a post that I'm going to need to write this week about peat-free gardening. So since I need to write that, maybe on Wednesday I'm going to have a hole big enough in my calendar schedule where that's a good day to get that going. So as I'm planning out Wednesday, that might be my focus for the day. And that's how I'm going to handle that and get that done so that I'll be able to cross this off. Maybe by the end of Wednesday, certainly on Thursday. So that transferring makes, it seems like it's duplication, but it's actually a means of tracking each individual project and then making time in my schedule to get those things done. My goal every week is that at the end of the week, all of the things that are on these chunks are crossed off and have been done, so that the next week it's a matter of a whole new set. Does that always happen? No, not by any stretch. But that is how I try to work it. Over here it says cards, you'll see. This is where that birthday list that I started on the monthly list, I add those here. And when it's time to mail them, so for example, my friend Nadia's birthday is the week after this, for example, on my planner. So the week before her birthday, I'm going to add her to the cards list and mail her card off, and then hopefully she'll get it in time for her birthday, or her gift, or whatever it is that we're doing. There aren't any real holidays in August, but when it's time for holiday shopping and that kind of thing, this becomes even more important. And I try to tackle things in smaller chunks this way. I will tell you that I rarely plan Sundays and Saturdays. So I often use these blocks here also as places for to-do lists. Sometimes there's stuff that I've planned out for Sundays and Saturdays. It depends. But these are also other places where a to-do list can go. And when I have something that's happening all week long, I'll give you an example. My child's going to be doing an online camp for this week. Or if I was going to be out of town for part of the week, or my husband was traveling for part of the week, or something like that, I will often use a strip of washi tape up at the top, or write it. That's another way to do it. So you can use a strip of washi tape and then just say, camp for this week. Or the other thing, I'm going to tear that off. Show you another way that I sometimes notate that. I'll use a, let's see, it's purple. And so this might say, camp from 10 to 2, for example. And then, which I think is wrong, and I'll have to cover it up, but just use a line of dots so that you're not taking up space every single day. If that's something that's repeating all week, or out of town, or, somebody's traveling, or the car is in the shop for these 3 days, or whatever it happens to be, that's an easy way to delineate something that repeats over and over and over again, so you don't have to copy it in. So let me tell you about these spaces down here, now that this ink has dried. One of the things that I do is I use the Pomodoro method. And I am, let's see. Mountain Lion asks, how do you manage sitting down weekly to set up this all? My apologies if you covered it early. I came in late. Mountain Lion, no worries. I'm happy to talk about it. So let me go back and cover that really fast, and then I'll talk about these because that gives this a little bit longer, a little bit of a chance to dry. So I sit down on Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon usually, and do my week look ahead. And that's a really, really good question. It takes me probably 45 minutes to do my week at this point. And I find that to be an incredibly useful time of my, and it just kind of centers me. It gets me ready for the week. I have everything kind of laid out in my head, and I do it on paper, like I was saying earlier, because when you write something down, there is something about the transfer of physically writing it as opposed to typing it. It doesn't work the same way if you type it, but there is something in the transfer of writing it that ingrains it better in your brain. And educational researchers have looked at this. They have done multiple studies, and they have found this to be true in almost all people most of the time. It is kind of startling, actually. So when you think about kids, for example, high school students or college students taking notes in a class on a computer, it is like the worst idea ever in terms of long-term learning. Well, we can apply that same thing to planning. Spending half an hour or 45 minutes writing everything out for the week and really planning that is so much better for your brain. So it is time that I've been doing this for so long. My family is like, okay, so she's planning now. And it's just what happens on Sunday. Sometimes it doesn't happen until Monday morning. Sometimes it happens on Saturday. But generally, in that kind of first part of the week, it is how I pull it together. And because I have a system, and I just do it regularly, it doesn't take me all that long anymore. Literally 45 minutes. And that includes like choosing stickers and deciding how it's going to look and all of that kind of stuff. It used to take me longer, and depending on how busy I am, some weeks it does. But it is really critical to my own well-being. And so I make time to make it happen. I also make it cute and pretty because that's critical to my own well-being too. There is no reason that you have to use washi tape and stickers and colored markers and all of this kind of stuff. If you are a black and white person, go for it. The whole idea is the planning, but I like this stuff because I think it makes it look more fun. And I get kind of tired of boring. So I do all this color, and it's kind of a creative outlet for the week too. But that's totally your call. Let me know, Mountain Lion, if you have other questions, because I'm happy to go back and answer them for sure. And let me know if that helped. Okay, so here's why I put these trackers down here. So I have a particular project that I do for work. I'm a writer. I'm a freelance writer. I have lots of things that I'm juggling during the week. And one of the things that I juggle, I use a tracker specifically for that project. So that's what this one is for. But this one over here is my Pomodoro Tracker. So I track Pomodoros. Now the Pomodoro method of planning it's called Pomodoro, which means tomato in Italian, because picture I know you've seen them. It's a kitchen timer that's shaped like a tomato. And the person who started Pomodoro tracking, or Pomodoro, this kind of Pomodoro idea, had one of those tomato kitchen timers and used it, and his kitchen timer, her kitchen timer, I'm not sure who it was, only went to 25 minutes. So they were like, okay, so I'm going to divide my day up into chunks that are as long as the Pomodoro timer goes. That's how long I can sit and focus. Well, actually, the 25 minutes is actually perfect because it is about as long as a human being can truly be focused and then need a break. And so if you work in 25-minute chunks with a 5-minute break, that's called doing one Pomodoro. So here, this is where I track my Pomodoros. So here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I actually include Saturday and Sunday here because occasionally I'll come down to my office and say, I'm going to work for 2 Pomodoros, 1 hour. And so I will write them down. So here's across the top, I'll just put numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So every time I do a Pomodoro, and I live and die by my phone's clock timer. Every time I do a Pomodoro, I tell Siri, set a timer for 25 minutes. And then when I'm done, I cross it off. So my goal in a day is to have done 4 or maybe 6 Pomodoros. That is dedicated work chunks of work. And you do, if you do 3 Pomodoros with 5-minute breaks, then you take a 25-minute break and you do something completely different. So you could be working on the same project for 7 Pomodoros in a workday. That is not all that much time, actually. It's 4.5 hours of your workday with little breaks in between. But if you spent all 7 working on one project, that's totally fine. But it gives you 5 minutes, and I do set my timer. Okay, I have 5 minutes. I'm going to sit on the floor and stretch. Or I'm going to get up and walk around. Or I'm going to spend 5 minutes in my garden because I work at home. or I'm going to take 5 minutes and change out the laundry, or whatever it happens to be. Go get a drink, make a cup of tea, whatever it is, but 5 minutes, and then go back to work and set the timer again for 25 minutes. So here I track those Pomodoros. And I cannot tell you, this is such a game changer, because I find that so many of my tasks that end up filling this are one Pomodoro. And so if I can cross off 6 or 7 Pomodoros in a day, in between meetings or, phone calls or whatever it is that happens to be, and I often will assign myself a Pomodoro to make all the phone calls I need to make in a day. That if they're short ones, like I need to call the dentist, and then I need to call this, and then I need to call this, I schedule a phone call Pomodoro and get it all done so that it's not popping up at other times of the day. And sometimes, some weeks I'm able to get all of those phone calls done in like one day. If I needed to call and make 6 appointments, that's a Pomodoro, maybe 2 Pomodoros, and then it's done. And all of those they're crossed off my list. So the Pomodoro method, there are lots of things on YouTube and other places about how to do Pomodoros, but that's a brief overview. But that is one thing that I track every single week. Another thing that I track, and this has to do with Pomodoros, is I track creative breaks. So at some point during the day, I try to spend at least 30 minutes doing something that is beyond what I'm normally working on. I do a lot of writing. I'm a writer. So this is stuff that, like, I'm going to spend 30 minutes doing needlework, or I'm going to spend 30 minutes drawing with my child. Something that gets my brain working in a different direction. That is also based in educational brain research. It is really critical. I took up watercoloring a couple of years ago because I found like I was getting stuck in other stuff. I am actually really terrible at watercoloring, but I enjoy it so much because it is a way of getting my brain out of the normal track that it's usually stuck in. And I really love that creative break. So that's one of the things I track here. I also, with some success and not success, track laundry. It can be as simple as that. The laundry room is literally outside my office. And so I track how many days have I gone out and folded a load of laundry as one of my Pomodoro breaks or my other breaks. Again, this is just about getting my brain out of whatever I've been working on and that high intensity and getting into something else. There are some weeks that that's completely empty, and those are weeks that are terrible because I have to spend all weekend folding laundry. So it's a lot better if I have an X in every single box across that week. I track in here. I track how much gardening I do, like weeding, which days I do weeding. I don't expect I'm going to go out and weed every single day. But that's a really great way to use a Pomodoro break, to just spend 25 minutes and go out and weed. It's good exercise. It's being outside. It's a little bit of sweating. It's a lot of bending over and those kinds of things. But it's good for me to go out and do. So sometimes weeding is another thing that I track. And then there are other things that I do in my planning as well. But those are all, they're all things that I do on a weekly basis. So, I have done a ton of talking, and I have not asked about questions at all. Let me know in the comments if you have other questions that I can answer. This is just a kind of quick glimpse into what it's like to plan. And I intend to do some Plan With Me's every couple of weeks here on Amazon, so that there's a community. If you are just starting planning, I'm happy to answer questions. You can also always contact me through my website. And if you have other questions, you think, oh, I don't remember, the link to my website's right there, midmodernmama.com. And you can contact me that way and ask questions for sure. But I have lots of ideas and things about planning on my website too, that can help you get started. If you have any questions, I realize now you've been watching my hands through a lot of this. So here's my face again. If you have any questions, stick them in the comments, and I'm happy to check them out and answer them. I really appreciate the fact that you came tonight and you've been hanging out. I wonder if you've been planning, like, what kind of planner are you using? What are you doing? Is planning new to you? Let me know, and let's keep the conversation going. I have lots of other projects that are coming up, or that I have done already done Amazon Lives for. I did a couple of sewing projects last week and in the last couple of weeks that are really fun and easy. I've done some Cricut projects. So there's a tour of my mudroom, which is very exciting, and our stock tank pool too. So I hope you'll check out some of the other lives that I've done, and I'm really grateful that you have been here. I will stick around and answer questions for a couple of minutes beyond all of this, but if you're just starting planning, good luck. And if you're a veteran planner and you have other tips, I'd love to hear those too. Please make sure that you follow me. That way you'll get a notification in your app the next time I go live. But you can also always come back and take a look at these again and listen to them, and always ask questions. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Bye.